Good morning, UUMAN. My name is Rafaela Shanahan. I'm a fellow UUMAN member, and on behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, music director Alex Peach, this morning's musician John Pruitt, my fellow worship associates, and the dedicated technical team that is making today's live stream possible, I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. A special thanks to Deborah Burrell for this morning's flowers in memory of her father, Frank Scruggs. We are a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. If there are any visitors visiting us today for the first time and feel comfortable doing so, please introduce yourself so we can worship together as friends. Are there any first-time visitors on my left? Any visitors on my right? All right. So for some announcements, next Sunday will be our annual Rites of Passage service with the coming-of-age students, Dylan Callan and Addie Gore, and they will present their faith statements. We will also be honoring our graduating seniors, Rafaela Shanahan, and thank you. And my good friend, Vika Kapeskas, as they bridge into young adults. There may also be some other surprises. The following Sunday, May 29th, will be our annual Hembry Park service. Please join us, not here at UUMAN, but at the Pavilion in Roswell's Hembry Park on Hembry Road, just a few moments from here. Bring some food to share, and we will make a picnic out of it. I believe that Jennifer Ratcliffe has an announcement.
Good morning, everybody. I have an announcement and then something else. Next week is our congregational meeting. We're having a vegetarian brunch before that. So after service, please stay. And then after the brunch, please stay some more so that we can vote. We are electing a vice president and a treasurer. Candidate for vice president is Mike Chambers. Oh, he's not here. And Jennifer Philippi for treasurer. So, and it's a time for us to give you a report on how things are going, and hopefully you'll get a look at our budget for the coming year. It's also a time for us when we honor volunteers. So anybody that's volunteered, please tell your chairperson to send me a list of your name. We are honoring a volunteer that's not going to be here next week, and I don't see him here. He's outside. I wanted to honor Bob Pop. Bob is stepping down from the board. He's been a member of the board for 3 years, but you all know he's done more than that. So I wanted to give you this token of our appreciation and hopefully ask you to slow down.
No, I don't want to say anything.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And for one final announcement, we face a defining moment. The things we believe in are on the ballot. The last day of advance voting is Friday, May 20th. The primary is Tuesday, May 24th. Vote for the children of every species.
Good morning. This morning's service and sermon was actually purchased at the service auction by Jennifer Ratcliffe. How much did you pay, like $10,000 for it? Good, because I wrote a $10,000 sermon. Okay, this morning's call to worship was written by Margaret Weiss. She writes, "Come into this place with your whole self, parts that are raw and exposed. The part that is beaming with joy, the part that is seeking truth, the new, the possibility. Come into this place, open your heart, lay down your burden, lift up your hope for something new to happen. Come into this place with fellow travelers on the journey. Some new faces and others familiar, and all welcoming you here now to this moment. And now let us light our chalice together."
Today's chalice lighting is by Eric Walter Wickstorm. Here, today, in this place with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. At this point in this service, we share our joys with each other to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward and drop a pebble into the bowl. Express a joy or sorrow that you may have. For those of you attending via live stream, if you have a joy or sorrow that you would like to share this morning, please type it into the chat.
Step back.
Oh, I see it. Excuse me, I'm visually impaired. I'm Linda Moore, and this is Ralph Moore, and we've been members of UUMAN for a long time. This community means a lot to us, but we're moving to Savannah, to Wilmington Island, 10 minutes from the ocean and 15 minutes from my new grandchild, and we're very excited about the move, so it's a sorrow and a joy. We're really sad to leave all of you. You have meant so much to us, but we want to look forward to a new stage of life where we'll be close to our family and the beach for me.
I'm Randy Blosh. A couple of things I would like to drop. First of all, I'm going to drop one pebble in honor of the 13 people who were shot yesterday in Buffalo and the 10 that died simply because of the color of their skin. Those of us who are blessed enough to be in the position I'm in as an old, gray-haired white guy, we're the ones who need to speak up and make this stop. It's up to us. So I'm dropping that pebble for them. A pebble of joy for those of my fellow classmates who graduate from Meadville Lombard today. Not me yet, but all my classmates who get to go. Believe me, you'll know when I'm graduating. I'll be about this high off the floor, I think, that day. But these are people I started with in 2019, and they were on the 3-year plan, and they're all graduating, so I'm thrilled for them. And the last one is a melancholy joy, thanks to Dave Dunn this morning, who reminded me that today will be the last day I will be teaching RE at UUMAN as I move on to do my other things. So if you've not taught RE, do it. It'll change your life. It changed mine.
Hello, my name is Phil Keeling. My fiance Emily, we have been coming here for maybe a month and a half at this point, and we'd been missing something in our lives, and I'm very happy to say that we found it here. It's been really wonderful. You've welcomed us, and it meant the world to us. It really has. So I have a pebble of joy with a touch of some sorrow to it when I found out recently that I will be accepting a job in Greenville, South Carolina soon. So we will be, we just got here. But the good news is that the welcome that we've received from all of you has basically convinced us that this is the community for us, and we will be attending the Unitarian Universalist church there when we get settled in and everything. So thank you very much for that. It's meant the world to us. Thank you.
As some of you may know, I'm 18 now, and last weekend I voted for the first time. So it was fun. So that's my joy. And I will drop one final pebble for all those joys and sorrows still too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. Let us keep one another in our thoughts for the coming week. This poem is called Slowly But Surely by Mario Benedetti. The future's coming slowly, slowly but surely. Right now, it's hidden beyond the surly clouds and some still invisible, nimble heights beyond the thunder's roar and the spider's web. It's taking its time, like a determined flower, keeping track of the sun. Perhaps that's why daily life prepares to greet it, settling exorbitant debts, opening new chapters in memory. But the future's in no hurry. It's coming, slowly, finally bringing relief, bread for the hungry, battered angels, faithful sorrows, slow, but not half-hearted. Neither smug nor spoilsport. It's simply coming, with its sharpened blade and weighing scales, inquiring fists about our dreams, then our homelands, our latent memories, and our newborns. Slowly. The future's coming, with its Mondays and marches, its clenched fists and dark-ringed eyes and projects. Slowly but swiftly, like a dim, still unnamed star. Convalescent and slow, sheepish, proud, so very modest, that well-versed future we're shaping. We, and chance. But more and more we, less and less chance.
Thank you, John. It is such a blessing to have a congregation, or to be in a congregation that has such great musicians. I mean, to be able to call on John and Donna too. And when Alex needed to take 2 weeks off, he hasn't had like 2 weeks off in like 2 years. He's been here every week. So thank you. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. I've been thinking about this saying of Theodore Parker's, especially in light of Justice Alito's Roe versus Wade draft decision. Does it bend towards justice? Might it be bending towards justice in some erratic way, or perhaps not at all? Does the long arc of the moral universe bend towards justice or injustice? I'd like to say that the answer to that question might be yes, that it bends towards justice, and then it bends towards injustice, and then bends towards justice again, and on and on and on. Maybe that's the nature of reality, that there is an ebb and flow to all things, that all things wax and wane. This is the fundamental principle of Taoism, and the lunar cycle, with its waxing towards fullness and waning towards newness, is perhaps Taoism's most prevalent metaphor. The yin-yang symbol itself is essentially a representation of two conjoined moon phases. Perhaps reality and justice and everything are like that, cycles and waves. And possibly, with justice, maybe, perhaps, there's a direction to this waxing and waning, that it's waxing and waning towards some higher ground over time. Whatever the case may be, we might not know the future of the wave, where we are on it, whether we are at its peak or its trough, but there is one thing we know for certain, that its future is coming, slowly but surely, slowly but swiftly, like a dim, still, unnamed star. In the movie Don't Look Up, a scientist astronomer played by Jennifer Lawrence, discovers a comet. And there's a scene when she and her colleagues are gathered in a conference room around a table, and their supervisor, who's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is leading them into some calculations. How close will this comet come to Earth? Oh my God. He's doing the calculations, and he can barely contain his excitement like a kid. And then he comes to the final answer, and it's 0.0, indicating that the comet won't pass by Earth, but instead it will directly hit Earth. He panics in disbelief, erases the answer, begins to sweat, and runs through the calculations again, but the same results. Yes, that dim, still, unnamed star is coming, slowly but surely, like a determined flower. This morning's poem was written by the Uruguayan writer Mario Benedetti. He was a literary director of an influential newspaper in Uruguay that got shut down after the military coup there in 1973. He was forced to live in exile in Madrid from that time, 1973, until democracy returned to Uruguay in 1985. I don't know when he wrote this poem, but it does sound like one perhaps written in exile. I believe that he's describing himself and others in exile as, quote, faithful swallows who are waiting for that future, along with other exiles, waiting for that future that is slowly coming, waiting for the time to undertake that long migratory flight homeward, once the arc of democracy is bent again, quote, finally bringing relief and bread for the hungry. He lived in exile for 12 years, away from his wife, who remained behind to care for their aging parents. And he lived in exile not knowing when or if he could return. It was 12 years, but he didn't know. Could it be 15, 20, a lifetime? Yet he lived and wrote this poem knowing that the time of waxing justice was coming. Though it might be, quote, hidden beyond the surly clouds, and still some invisible, nimble heights, beyond the thunder's roar and the spider's web, but that it was still coming, slowly, but not half-hearted. Of course, there's much about our existence that is beyond our control. We don't control when the star that gives life to all things on this planet will go dim and flicker out. And although it's hubris for us to think that we can control outcomes, when it comes to bending arcs, who or what is doing the bending? Most of us believe that we have some agency, some semblance of free will. It goes without saying that we are not where we need to be as a species living sustainably on this planet, and that we're not where we need to be as a people living in a free and just democracy. It feels like justice is waning on so many fronts. But if one believes in the natural waxing and waning of all things, and I do, this is to be expected. We've likely all heard the following passages from the book of Ecclesiastes. A generation goes, and a generation comes. The sun rises and the sun goes down. The wind blows to the south and goes round to the north. Round and round goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to seek, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to sow. No, we are not where we need to be in matters concerning the environment, freedom, and justice. Sometimes it seems as if we're definitely headed in the wrong direction. And it must be acknowledged that when this happens, when we're headed in the wrong direction, bad things can happen to good people, and good people can get hurt. Fascism spread throughout Europe in the 1930s, and ultimately, the world confronted that injustice, and many paid the ultimate price. Yet after the war, the Western Allies supported freedom and democracy, and they believed that by rebuilding Western Europe, all of us could thrive together. And generally speaking, we did. When you compare that to an Eastern Europe that was controlled by a totalitarian regime. Well, the regime is at it again in Ukraine. Yet look at the global response. It is encouraging that all nations that truly value freedom and justice have condemned that aggression. And it feels different to me. The world feels different. We don't know how long it will take. We don't know how many good people will get hurt, or how many good people will have to pay the ultimate price. But it feels as if the regime's ideology is no longer acceptable, and the new future is simply coming with its sharpened blade and weighing scales. In light of recent events and draft decisions of the Supreme Court, we here in the United States seem to be nibbling at the edges of fascism and sanity. And again, the arc of justice seems to be headed in the wrong direction. And unfortunately and sadly, people can and will get hurt. Yet we are still the captain of our ship. We have agency. We can reject this insanity and its restrictions of freedoms. We can bend that arc, that well-versed future that we're shaping, we and chance. But more and more we, less and less chance. This future that's coming, this future that we can try to shape, we don't know what shape it might ultimately take. It might end up looking very differently than anything we could possibly imagine right now. Yet despite the world's violence, injustice, and loss, the future that is relentlessly coming could still be just, right, and true. Artist Rand Ortner, known for painting huge, turbulent ocean scenes, writes, "There's a tremendous puzzle in art for me because of the violence in the world. The ocean can display such incredible violence. But somehow, that doesn't begin to diminish the beauty that's all around us. If anything, it makes that beauty more astonishing. As much horror as there is, there's still a place where flowers bloom, and outside on the front door, it's spring. Out of this crack in the sidewalk, life comes again. Damn it. You can use all the weed killer in the world, and it will still come. Yes, slowly but surely."
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share their time, treasure, and talents. With this, we will now take the offering. You may also use the Giveify app.
Some mornings we wake up on empty to a day that's got nothing but need. So we reach for a strong cup of coffee, or maybe a good book to read. The words of the sages are golden, but they come from so high and so far. Sometimes it's true, the best thing to do is pick up a good old guitar. Let the beauty we love come and fill us. Let the beauty around get us through. Let the beauty inside our heart be our compass. Let beauty now be what we do, what we do. 'Cause all hearts still long for a beauty. It's a secret that's hid everywhere. And a soft, sweet old tune can remind us it shines in the midst of the deepest despair. There's hundreds of ways joy can find us, like the hundreds of ways children play. And there's hundreds of ways to kneel down on the ground, hundreds of ways we can pray. Let the beauty we love come and fill us. Let the beauty around get us through. Let the beauty inside our heart be our compass. Let beauty now be what we do. Oh, let the beauty we love come and fill us. Let the beauty around get us through. Let the beauty inside be our compass. Let beauty now be what we do, what we do.
We accept this sacred offering generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission. We would like to now give you the opportunity to share your thoughts. Here's your prompt. It goes without saying that we as a species faced a whole host of challenges, and these challenges can be cause for despair, hopelessness. Yet for this sharing, never mind what you might consider doable, practical, or even realistic, yet please share what it is that you hope will come. What is it that is on its way, slowly but surely? So please come forward and use that microphone and briefly, that means less than a minute, share your thoughts.
I went to the rally yesterday for reproductive justice, and I've been going to rallies like this all my life. The big difference was the leadership of this rally. All the speakers were self-identified as transgender, binary. They were all women of color, and it was so exciting and so powerful. And I know, there's nothing we can do to stop the fact that that's our future, that new leadership.
I would like to see Stacey Abrams elected as governor of Georgia, and I'm going to work to make it happen. As a matter of fact, this has to do with my mom, who lives in Macon in an impoverished neighborhood right next to a black church, which I've generously given some money to put some good karma out there. But I'm thinking, hey, maybe Mama, you can use your house as a bed and breakfast for people coming through, because it's gonna take us all, and we need that black vote. We need the women's vote, but we're gonna do it.
Just to build on what Michelle was saying, I'm just really looking forward to seeing all of our young people have their consciousness raised about these rights that they've had for so long, their whole lives, basically, and now maybe they'll realize how important these rights are and that they have to be defended.
So right at the beginning of the pandemic, I got connected with some people who are interested in the environment in Roswell. And we worked together with one of the city council members, and we put together a native plant resolution. So going forward in Roswell, all of the plants that are going to be planted on city property have to be a very large percentage native plants. And that's super exciting. And it was a great example of what we can do at a very local level. So everybody who lives in every city around here, you can do this too. Just get together with a couple of neighbors, find a city council member, if you're lucky, who's amenable to environmental issues, and just put it out there. And it wasn't that hard. We got it done in a year. Our next initiatives, we each have a little project we're working on. I'm working on making the parking lots more sustainable. So it seems like a little bit of a boring topic, but it's pretty exciting to think that we could make our parking lots filled with native plants, not little flood zones. We could reduce the lighting so that we're not driving away wildlife, and it's something we could all do on a little local level. A friend of mine is working on the tree canopy in Roswell. So we're trying to change the law that right now in Roswell, every tree that's cut down, you have to give the city a little bit of money. But the law is written so that they can, instead of planting another tree with that money, they can plant a shrub. And that's not as good. So he's working on changing that law. We're working on a law that would reduce how much plastic we use in Roswell in the city properties. So everybody from all the cities, from all the counties around here, if you get together with a few friends, it's really not that hard, and you can do something that affects your whole area. And if everybody did this, we would do a lot. So thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm reminded of Margaret Mead's comment about don't underestimate a small group of dedicated people to change the world. In fact, that's the only way things are changed. And we may be small, but we're powerful. And I know that change will come, waxing and waning, but change will come.
I have a dream that one day there will be running water for all children, that we won't have only gray-haired men in power, and that we will somehow find a way to transport without fossil fuels. That's my dream.
Well, thank you for sharing. And as Elizabeth said, many of the projects they're kind of boring sounding. And actually in the poem it described them as sheepish, so very modest, but still, slowly but surely, it's progress. So thank you all for sharing. As you can hopefully tell, I have a lot of hope despite the disappointments, and they're big disappointments. But thank you again for sharing.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
The future is coming, slowly but surely, convalescent and slow, sheepish, proud, so very modest. That's the future we're shaping, we and chance, but more and more we, and less chance. Go in peace and enjoy your week.